Greetings, wonderful humans! I am reviewing today episode 1 of Psycho Pass 2. Actually, unlike my review of Occult, where it was me going in there blind, watching the episodes, and then recording this immediately after, I've watched the first 4 episodes of Psycho Pass 2. I absolutely adore the first Psycho Pass. It's one of my favorite... It's up there with anime I like. It's probably one of my favorites. It's at least up there in my top 10. But, Psycho Pass 2, I dropped after episode 4, and never continued watching it. I decided to give it another shot, seeing I'm doing anime reviews on this channel anyway. I decided, hey, why don't I give Psycho Pass 2 another shot, so that way, by the time Psycho Pass 3 comes out, I'll know anything I might need to know for that one. So it starts off with an antidepressant ad, which is kind of goofy and silly. I just find it kind of funny because, this whole society is kind of built on, pulling the wool over people's eyes and making them think that the Sybil system is 100% effective and perfect and great and pretty dang cool. But, the antidepressant ad is totally like, hey, you worried about getting so depressed that the Sybil system thinks you're a criminal and arrests you? And I think that's just really funny that the ads in this universe, that's just a funny way to advertise something. It makes sense that the society is so desensitized that wouldn't seem weird as an advertising tactic, but it's just kind of a funny observation. Then we get a big ol' explosion. The thingy-madoo that was advertising the fucking thing turned out to be a bomb and exploded. And we get our lovely crew essentially giving us some exposition, being like, hey, this is like the 4th bombing lately, man. This terrorist dude's just frickin' bombing everyone. That's kinda rude. We don't like that. We should probably make him not do that. And, then Akane comes in. We see her driving with Mika. I hate Mika. Akane, though, is still, the fucking coolest human ever. Akane is just top-tier character. I love Akane. And as long as Akane is still great, I'll still probably enjoy this show. Again, obviously, I wasn't enjoying it a lot because I dropped it at episode 4, but I think Akane and Ginoza are still such lovable characters. I think I can still get through this show and still love it, even if the actual entire show sucks, if that makes any sense. If I actually sit down and convince myself to watch all this, which I'm going to for the channel, I think I'll still enjoy it just because Akane is just such a great protagonist that I could probably, still enjoy some stories with her, even if they're bad. And so Ginoza doesn't wear glasses anymore. They kinda, that they developed on in, Psycho Pass 1, but Ginoza just, no more glasses. They're still really cool, but they've definitely calmed down a bit. Now that they're just already a latent criminal, they're significantly less uptight, because they're like, well, I'm already a criminal, so I might as well not be so uptight and bitchy now that I'm already here anyway. It's actually kind of a nice character development. They feel like... It feels like a very realistic development of Ginoza from what we saw in Psycho Pass 1 and how it looked like he was heading in the last episodes. We get some really cool background music while all the enforcers are coming out of their frickin' box thing and they're taking out the dominators. We just get some really cool background music. I loved it a lot. Then bam, we go into the opening. The opening, awesome. I love the opening. I can jam to this all day. All day. I don't quite love it as much as the OP from Psychopaths 1, but I do really love it. This is a really cool opening. I like the visuals. I like the weird static effect thing they were doing, and the rewinding effect they were doing. The visuals are all cool. The music's great. I love it. I am going to be very happy getting to hear this throughout the season. Mika's an asshole. That's the whole episode. They're just randomly being a dick to Ginaza. It wasn't even really, like, warranted either, so they make sure to essentially... Okay, well, what they're trying to do. The point of this is, Mika is supposed to be the new Ginaza, so to speak, because in the first Psychopaths, Mika was the newbie who was all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and just wanted to save everyone, while Ginaza was the bitchy, black-and-white, no, you do things by the book. If the book says something that is bullshit, you do it by the book anyway. If the book says it's something immoral, you do it anyway, because it's the goddamn book, and you're wrong, and you shouldn't be happy. This world is dark, get bitter like I am, and, he was a great foil to, Akane. And it made sense that Ginaza would be like, Akane, you're being too naive, because in times in the past where Ginaza was more trusting, it went badly. Ginaza, feels that Akane's being too naive, and it makes sense that he'd be bitchy to try to protect her, so she gets more jaded like him, and treats the situation in a more logical, less feeling-based kind of way. But here, it's them redoing that, except now Akane is the mentor and the person more experienced, and the newbie who's, she's been there a year and a half now, but the newer person, is bitchy and being like, oh, you should be doing things by the book. And it's supposed to be a foil like it was with Ginaza and Akane, except I don't like it as much here. I might start to like it more later. I know when I got to episode 4, by the end of episode 4, I still hated Mika as a character. So maybe when I get to there and keep going, I'll learn to like her, but I just hate her as a character. I just don't think she works as well as Ginaza, and a lot of this feels weird just because Akane is just clearly, like, one of the smartest human beings in the show, and by this point, because in season 1, we see her develop into being a smart badass, and her solution to her being too touchy-feely to really get the job done was to just get so goddamn good at her job and so smart that she could compensate for her being really soft and trying to avoid killing anyone. So it feels weird that, like, Mika in this whole episode is being really bitchy. Because, one, she's been working a year and a half. She knows Akane doesn't kill people, so this should be the norm by now. So she just be like, oh, okay, Akane's doing this, okay. Like, she should be used to disagreeing with Akane, but also it's weird that, because at least when Ginaza was disagreeing with Akane, he was doing it with at least the idea that, like, he was right and has evidence to prove that he's right, while Mika is doing it, everything we see in the show proves Akane right all the time. So it doesn't make sense in season 2, for people to not believe Akane, because everything Akane does is usually the right fucking thing to do, because she keeps proving herself right. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm hoping she proves me wrong and gets great later. Again, by episode 4, they didn't really give a lot of insight to her backstory from what I remember when I watched it, so maybe she has a really good backstory that makes it make a little more sense, I hope. But, that's yet to be seen. But, Kitazawa is the bomber's name. He's, works in demolition, and they are curious because even though he is making bombs to possibly kill people, his psychopath is clear, which is weird. Because usually if people even think about doing bad things, their psychopaths get less clear. Like, a lot of the enforcers were dudes that were actively stopping bad things from happening, but just because they were around so much fucked up stuff, their psychopaths ended up not being clear. And so, it's weird that a psychopath's clear. Everyone's, like, rushing Akane. Like, she's, like, evaluating the situation, everyone's like, Mika's like, we just gotta go, we gotta fucking do this, and then the fucking B team that's helping him out's like, yeah, I agree, you're wasting too much time, let's get this guy, and Akane's like, dudes, hold on, and, so they're all being dumbasses and rushing Akane, even though, like, Akane's, like, OP, top tier, badass investigator over here, stop fucking rushing Akane, so they're all kinda stupid. Akane's basically ends up saying, well, okay, all of these times he's never killed anyone. He never has injured anyone. Which is weird, because if you're building a bomb, it's pretty easy to injure someone. So he's probably just doing this shit to get people to freak out and get our attention, so we drive in there. So he's probably just baiting us. And then, it turns out, Akane is right, because of fucking course she is, it's Akane, of course she's right, and they were just baiting it, so B-team, bomb goes off, shit happens, a fucking truck on autopilot just busts in, guns a-blazing, trying to attack them and run them over, misses everyone, flips, then blows up and suicide bombs them, no one's hurt though, so that's cool. I forget her name, it's been a long time since I watched Psycho-Pass 1, or those 4 episodes of Psycho-Pass 2, so I forgot a lot of names here, but the, kick-ass punk rock lesbian girl from Akane's team, apparently Mika just doesn't hate her. I don't know why, I guess we'll find out that later, but, she just doesn't hate her for some reason, so that might be interesting. The bomber escapes with a hostage, and they're like, oh shit, don't shoot him, he has a hostage. So they don't shoot him, and they escape. Mika's bitching that Akane doesn't use enforcers as human shields, which is really fucking weird. I mean, it's like, you've been here a year and a half, dude. You should know Akane is not going to use an enforcer as a human shield. You should know this by now. But I guess she doesn't. I guess she did, like, temp work a lot of the time. I guess she spent a lot of her time doing fucking desk work, so she just didn't actually have time with Akane to learn this shit much. I mean, in the end of Season 1, we saw her clearly on a mission with Akane, but I guess she didn't have a lot of missions with Akane, I guess. A fucking robot suicide bomber attacks Akane. She's like, this is where Mika bitches, because Akane sends the enforcers and Mika and everyone off while she takes care of the robot, and Mika's like, why don't you just have the enforcers do it? Who cares if they die? Then Akane just fucking wrecks the robot. The robot just gets fucking destroyed. It's badass. Akane is great, because she's awesome. She's the best person ever. Then Mika's mad because she thinks Akane is underestimating her, because Akane is worried about her psychopaths and all this shit. Which, is understandable. She's working a year and a half. She doesn't want to be treated like she's new, which I get that. Bomber just releases the hostage randomly. The PC the fucking cameras and shit are scanning the hostage. Apparently, it doesn't think it's a real person. So this leads everyone to believe that it's just a hologram or something. Which, I know, I've seen a lot of spoilers for this show, so I know that's not true, but that's what they are believing in the second. Akane's crew chases fucking Bomber McGee while the others are going to disable the bomb, because basically Akane's like, dudes, if they just release the hostage, they're probably just trying to lure us into a bomb. So you guys disable the bomb. We'll chase this dude. So they do. And Akane refuses to shoot him because it's Akane. She doesn't kill people. It's one of her main character traits. And she's trying to talk him down, so the psychopath, trying to talk him down so his psychopath clears a little bit. So instead of the Dominator full-on murdering him, it will just stun him. That's a normal Akane thing. And Mika's bitching because she's not just fucking shooting him, and the B team ends up bitching later about why she's not just shooting him. And Gina's just like, oh, that's the Akane thing to do, okay. Like, he's not, like, happy about it, but he's, like, smirking a bit, because he's like, that's Akane. And, you know, so it's kind of cool to see at this point in the show, he spent so much time with Akane, he's just like, well, I mean, that's what I would expect her to do. And, it ends up working out, and, she ends up, stopping other people from shooting him, and, just tries to talk down the dude so she can just stun the dude. And, that's the episode. Has a cool final scene where he's like, helicopters and all this other stuff going on, but, yeah. Decent episode. It went by decently fast, which is nice. So, you know, it's not like it dragged, because, you know, the first episode, you know, they had to give you some exposition and, you know, get you invested in some new characters, which they really didn't go too far into any of the new people, but, you know, it's kind of good they didn't, you know, it's kind of good they didn't force too much for you to digest right away. So, first episode was decent. Like, again, I hate Mika. But, you know, we got to see Akane be awesome, Gina's still cool, so, you know, it was very watchable. I think the biggest issue isn't that it's not like it's just bad, like, horribly bad as a first episode, it's just that watching the first episode both this time and the first time I watched this first episode, it's just abundantly clear that this is a very noticeable step down from the first Psycho Pass. Like, I didn't hate it. I mean, I hate Mika, but I didn't hate this episode. I enjoyed it, but I just didn't enjoy it nearly as much as the first episode or any solitary episode from the first Psycho Pass. And that's how I felt the first time I watched it. And the first time I watched it, that's how I felt through the first 4 episodes. I'm hoping, as I continue to rewatch these first 4 episodes and review them, and I'm hoping while I review the 5th episode and all the episodes after that, that opinion changes. But I think the first Psycho Pass, just being so good, holds the show back a lot because it just isn't living up to it yet. I don't think it will, to be honest, because I got to the first 4 episodes and it didn't seem like it was going to. But I'm rewatching it. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I know some people I've seen actually really do like it, so I'm hoping I end up being one of those people. But as of now, I'm more leaning towards the category of I'm probably going to think that this is absurdly less good than Psycho Pass 1, but I'm really just banking on Akane and Ginaza being so damn good, I like it anyway. Because even if Psycho Pass 2 is just bad, and if it's just bad as I think it might end up being, I still might enjoy it because I really, really like Akane and Ginaza. So, that's my thoughts on it. Tell me what you thought about it in the comments. If there's some things that get better later on, like Mika, tell me in the comments also. I've gotten a lot of spoilers for the show already, so I'm not really worried about them. But, tell me what you think. If there's other shows you want me to cover, tell me. It doesn't matter if it's a new airing show. If it's a show that's currently airing, I might just binge watch a lot of episodes and do one long video of them. Or if you want me to cover some classic anime, it doesn't matter what it is, honestly. Just tell me shit you want me to cover and I'll probably do it.
Bye-bye!
Thank you, wonderful humans, for watching this video. If you could please subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave a comment telling me how wonderful I am. Follow me on Twitter at FlashyJWEvans, and as always, this has been Hell and High Tales, and I am one of your lovely co-hosts, King of Games Champion, JW Alistar, telling you to have a dandy day.